January 25th, 2023. Well, it looks like the classified document scandal is continuing to expand. In addition to all the additional fines on President Biden, now former Vice President Pence apparently has announced that his lawyer found some documents in at his residence. So it looks like this problem is continuing to expand. Some people see this mainly as something that will deflect from Biden's issue, although I think Biden's issue is a lot more serious, which we'll get to in a little while. But yeah, that's one of the issues that we've got going on here. But I think in the case of Pence, that this will probably not amount to anything because it appears that at present that he didn't really take the documents. That apparently that's a very small number, and apparently they were boxed up by the movers and transferred, and presumably we'll see what the facts are, but probably he didn't even know they were there, and probably, I'm guessing, decided to look for them because everybody else was finding them, and former President Trump, of course, found some, and after the ones he knew about were found. I mean, 'cause I think Trump was a little bit more on the ball about what was happening and knew of their existence. I think that in this case, I think that Pence is just blindsided. Even Trump came out to defense of Pence on this one. So I doubt anything much is going to happen with it, and probably I don't even think that'll require another special counsel. I doubt, because this one has just been handled pretty briefly, and at this point, I guess the only issue might be is of course, I think why this is happening is at the level of presidents and vice presidents. I think they're not handling this material like people who were contractors or members of the military or government officials in the civil service would handle these matters. I mean, basically, documents shouldn't be laying around where movers would simply pick them up and put them in boxes. I mean, when they're no longer being used or for read, they should be put back in a safe and locked up, not left laying around when you leave the room, so to speak. So, but I think in this case it won't lead to much. However, there are other issues that are kind of interesting too, which I'll get to, which is mainly the arrest of an FBI agent. And this is a really interesting one. But if you like these videos, please give me a like, and we need more subscribers. So please do if you're interested. And that is the arrest of Charles McGonigal, FBI agent in counterintelligence, because this is an interesting thing, because while this is the agent who was investigating Trump for Russian collusion, he himself was involved in colluding with a Russian and was apparently being paid to try to get some Russian oligarch's relative or something off the sanctions list. So, I mean, irony of ironies, the accusers apparently were guilty of what they were accusing. And this has got to be an amazing situation. Of course, it all may rebound because it looks like this ultimately might get back into the whole relationship with Hunter Biden, because now it's revealed on Tucker Carlson tonight that apparently one of the Hunter Biden emails sounded like something out of a State Department document, not something he would say himself. A very professional sounding policy wonk speech about the possibility of sanctions that might be imposed if a certain project went forward. And so it's likely he got that out of classified documents that his father had, which will rebound back, I think, against Biden to some degree, although given the fact that the Justice Department has a kind of a friendly, soft type special prosecutor looking at him, while as the special prosecutor they have after Trump is a real headhunter, guy out to get his man. You may have two different outcomes of the investigations, except the question is, will the Justice Department want to actually try to justify this? They let Hillary Clinton off the hook, and then and then they go all after Trump, and then they end up letting Biden off the hook. That's going to look rather suspicious. And so, anyway, I thought that was an interesting development, and we'll just have to see where it plays out. But the fact is, the irony that the person that was investigating Trump for conspiring with the Russians himself was conspiring with Russians illegally, and now is under federal indictment. So anyhow, that'll be interesting development to say the least. I want to go into one other thing which you might get into. I guess we're looking at the issue of tanks for Ukraine. It appears that eventually, slowly but surely, somehow, NATO is finally trying to figure out a way to do it. It's like who wants to go first? The Germans are saying that they'll provide some Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine, which experts say is the kind of tank that would be most helpful to Ukraine. But they first want to let us send some Abrams tanks, which apparently will be a bit more technical, and they're also heavier, which might not do as good in the mud. But at any rate, they're still trying to wrangle it out how they actually justify this. Then I guess some other NATO countries, such as Finland and Poland, will also want to send in some of their tanks. So while we're waiting to see what happens on the Russian offensive here, it looks like some more equipment is heading toward Ukraine eventually. However, as I look at the situation, I'd like to make a quick comment on it. It looks to me like it's just possible that the Russian offensive may already be underway, depending on what it's going to be. Because if you look at some of the movements that's going on in Zaporizhia recently, in the southern part, it looks like the Russians may already be making advances in that area in a kind of a slow and methodical way. So we'll just have to, wait and see what happens on that, and to see how they can integrate these tanks in the Ukrainian military, which is kind of coming up. But I thought I'd run that by you too while I'm at it. So at any rate, I guess we'll wrap this one up for now, and I'll also always will post these on Rumble, and of course the addresses of my social media sites are in the description below. So until next time.